Welcome to my digital learning e-portfolio, where I've gathered every piece of learning, growth, and all my ideas throughout my role as a teacher candidate. I just wanted to touch quickly on the choice of photos that I've displayed here on my front page. They were chosen when I first created the e-portfolio, but I still feel so passionate about the message that I'm sending across with these images about what kind of teacher I want to be. It shows that I really value outdoor education, literacy, technology, and art. That's definitely where my passions lie, subject area wise. Inclusion and diversity are hugely important to me, and what I want to be as an educator is someone that really values and shows the importance of that. And then this quote here, the best teachers are those who show you where to look but don't tell you what to see. Definitely a quote that I still love. I can now connect it to inquiry based learning. Before I even knew what that was, I chose this photo, and it still shows really great meaning and importance to me. So moving over to my personal statement created the first week of the entire program, I was asked why I want to be a teacher. Some of the things here are talking about like the transmission of knowledge being why I want to be a teacher, that light bulb moment when I gave a student new knowledge and new information. It's definitely still something that I love and part of what drove me to be a teacher, but when we're going to go into my guided weekly responses next, we'll see how this idea has definitely evolved and my vision has expanded greatly. So some evidence of my vision, we'll just touch upon the first semester briefly in week 4 when we were discussing information and how students get it. I was talking about how the point of teaching and learning is to provide new information and to challenge the student to figure something out. So this is kind of where inquiry-based learning has come into play here, where I'm guiding my students to what I want them to learn, but I'm going to let them discover it and find the answer on their own. So it's definitely an evolution from the first statement, but not fully towards my vision yet. This is shown a lot more in semester 2. In week 1, we were asked again why we want to become a teacher. So here I'm talking a lot about how I want to make a difference in my students' lives and to inspire them. This is where my current vision really shines through a lot more. My vision of myself as a teacher and what I value is knowing my students, knowing their history, knowing their abilities, knowing their interests and preferences, and using that to help them succeed in all facets of their lives. And I see myself as a teacher who's involved with my students, who's not just a present at the front of the classroom, but who's present all over the school community. So week 3, we discussed universal design for learning and differentiated instruction. These are new terms to me this semester, but now I literally couldn't see teaching without them. It can be seen here how I see the benefit of UDL and DI in the classrooms, but I mentioned how in order to make them even work, you need to know your students and what's going to work for them in order to incorporate UDL and DI properly and effectively. Week 7's questions discussed my philosophy for classroom management. At the end here, my vision is very present in this statement. I'm talking about how I want to build a strong connection with my students by knowing them, both academically, like what subjects they like or what they're capable of or their learning style, but also personally, like what they did on the weekend and what hobby they have. I speak to how this kind of relationship contributes to a mutual respect between me and my students and how my vision can definitely benefit the classroom here. In my path to inclusivity, I suggested including students here as a resource for information for inclusion. I definitely value all of these resources, but I think students will know best. They know what they need, and I think we should definitely value their opinions, what they have to offer, their stories, in order to become a successful educator. So I just have some of my lesson plans here on this website from my first placement in kindergarten. So something that I just want to show as an example for how I used this vision in action. I knew this, so my students were playing Pac-Man a lot during iPad time. What an oldie. And I knew this was a great interest and something enjoyable for these students. So I took this interest that I knew about them and I modified it into a STEM center where they would take a magnet and collect magnetic bells all around a path, kind of like Pac-Man. This center was a huge hit, and by using knowledge of my students' interests, I was able to hook them into a great discovery center about magnetic forces. So some of these photos I just kind of come on here to reflect and remind myself about how knowing my students and creating an impactful and memorable experience for them is really important, and how I want to make them know that they're capable of learning and being really accomplished in life. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my DLP and understanding a little bit more about my vision for teaching and learning. My name is Katie McKinnon. Thank you very much.